Many of you are already aware of Ethan's ways, I guess. But I'm trying to explain to you that, like, at that point, I just didn't think that it was all that significant. Some of you may know this already. Some of you probably watched it yesterday, but Sam Seder, Uncle Sam, talked to Ethan Klein. Ethan Klein had by my estimation, I think Ethan wanted to talk to Uncle Sam Seder, because he personally thought that they would have a lot of agreements that he would then turn around and use against me in a conversation that would take place tomorrow. But it didn't go down the way he thought it would go down, because, of course, Sam Seder does not agree with Ethan on the issue of Israel-Palestine and agrees with me on the issue of Palestine. He tried to use a bunch of snippets and clips to try to get Sam to say, you're wrong, you're bad, whatever, Hasan is wrong, Hasan is bad, and Sam didn't eat the bait. Here is one funny clip from it. Here, we'll start off with this, that kind of shows exactly how this took place.
Fortunately, whatever Sam's been peppered with before the debate, I've seen, is his co-host telling him that I'm obsessed with Hasan, which is kind of my problem with Hasan. We don't even have to talk about Hasan. Basically, if you ask Hasan or a lot of people on the left, I'm being characterized by Hasan and a lot of his cohorts, a hugely influential political streamer like Hasan. My criticisms of Hasan, the thing he's doing, by the way, and Hasan is. Listen, I know we're arguing here about semantics of what Hasan said. Hasan pretty much openly supports Hamas.
Let's not talk about Hasan.
One thing that when I was talking to Hasan, this is what Hasan told me.
So yeah, it was a lot of Hasan. I'm glad that he really proved to Sam Seder that he was not obsessed. This conversation, for those of you who don't know, was supposed to be about Israel and Palestine. This conversation was just about it was supposed to be about, Sam Seder's perspective on Israel-Palestine and Ethan's perspective on Israel-Palestine, and maybe some of the disagreements that they had or some of the agreements that they had. Okay? But of course, because his focus on this matter is so incredibly narrow and so self-centered, that yes, he still used this as an opportunity to be like, look at these clips. First, he started off the conversation by talking about, by showing a clip that was supposed to reveal his perspective, his current perspective on Israel-Palestine. The clip, of course, he used was from Leftovers, from the first episode that we had after October 7, 2023. In that clip, he did say a bunch of things that were very pro-Palestine, that were correct, that was incredibly critical of Israel. But that was also part of the reason why I thought that he was, on board with talking about Israel's cruelty. And the reason why I said, I don't care about what Ethan is saying. That's the reason why I defended him for almost an entire year. Okay. There is that long video. Let me see if I can find it. I'll just show it to you. This is from Scarabell. He's been shitting on you on his members only streams. I don't care. I don't care. Bro literally shot on you yesterday and his coworker for saying from the river to the sea, sorry, dog. I don't care. I do not care. This is petty drama. Okay? I don't care. And neither should you. I will always. This is Biden talking about Netanyahu. No, this isn't Biden talking about Netanyahu. Okay? I'm explaining, it's very obvious. I'm explaining to you my position right here and right now. Listen to my words. Just listen to what I am saying. When did it stop becoming petty drama? It stopped becoming petty drama when Ethan actively started taking scalps, when he started going after pro-Palestinian content creators and getting them banned. On November 1st, 2023, I was way more focused on, as you can see from the details in front of me from the Times of Israel article I was reading, that I was way more focused on the actual issues. And I don't even think that was messed up of me to do. That was what my focus was. And I think it was the appropriate thing to focus on. Part of the reason why I thought it was irrelevant what Ethan Klein was saying at that point was because he's just another random content creator, and he wasn't occupying this space as someone who is consistently defending Israel. I thought foolishly that he still was an open-minded individual, that he was actually going to have a change of heart, have a change of perspective. That was my assessment. Stand by Ethan's ability to empathize and want to learn
and want to change his perspective. Okay? That's it.
It's
Ultimately,
telling that Ethan never showed this clip compilation to show how pro-Palestine he is because it shows you were defending him when he was smearing you. Yes.
Ethan has the capacity to arrive at a meaningful position because he has empathy for Palestinian people. He is literally better on this circumstance.
He was never an open-minded individual. He was like this before Leftovers. Why are you and Chaz surprised? I didn't think so. I was wrong on that. I think that there was a point in time when he was an open-minded person.
I've always demonstrated that until it reaches a boiling point, that I will always be kind to those around me that I believe I can communicate with, that I can lead by empathy. Okay? This has been my policy in perpetuity. You know this if you've been in here long enough. I tried with Aiden Ross, okay? And Ethan is not Aiden Ross. I think he will inevitably come around. Ethan is my friend. I think he's an empathetic person, and I hope that that is clear. No one, like, changing your perspective on an issue that is, like, near and dear.
This is, by the way, this is 7 minutes and 34 seconds long. It is crazy that he tries to claim to his audience that I was consistently attacking him from the jump. It is so wild that that is like a major motivator for him. A major motivator for him is this idea that like my community was constantly attacking him and I was constantly attacking him, when in fact, this is what I was doing this whole time. I don't think a single Ethan Klein fan has seen this in the past year. As a fan of H3 until yesterday, I can say that the discussion with Sam was a bridge too far. I'm no longer a subscriber of his, and I'm no longer an enlightened centrist. Oh my God, he lost Headband, the one guy who was constantly saying, I'm still a fan of you both. The problem is, like, I don't want his audience to leave him because he's, like, this isn't my goal, okay? My goal isn't to get people to stop watching him. My goal is to get him to stop pumping pro-Israel propaganda. Stop saying things that are in defense of Israel, okay? That's my goal. That's what I care about. I don't care. I don't care what else he does, okay? All of this is additionally crazy because chatters in here were giving you grief for not covering what Ethan was saying. Exactly. I think it comes from him perceiving your criticism of Israel and Israelis as him taking a personal attack on him and his family directly. It's like he can't make the situation about himself. Yes, this is defense of him is exactly what he expected from Ian. I guess you're a different case, huh? Yeah, but I did this. I did this for so long. I did this for so goddamn long because I, one, thought at most this was irrelevant and it would pass and Ethan would actually come to his senses. And you need to, as a community, also stop ripping into Ethan non-stop. As I've said it over and over again, leading up to the conversation that we had on this broadcast. You guys are so stupid for doing that. And it frustrates me to no end. I've told you this time and time again in this time frame, just like I kept telling you, Ethan is not your enemy over and over again. That's why I love iDubbbz, Ethan as well. People that have actually changed course, recognized their mistakes in the past, and now advocate against those sorts of things. I think for the record, obviously I don't stand by these opinions now. Hindsight is 2020. But you need to understand something. This is a principled, empathetic stance that I maintain when I'm talking to every single person. And all of your, oh, we were right and you were wrong attitude here is not going to change me from the way I deal with this stuff, okay? I'm just not going to do, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop giving people the benefit of the doubt, because I'm not going to stop when it comes to a random chatter. I'm not going to stop when it comes to other content creators with massive audiences. The reason why I'm not going to stop is because there are plenty of instances where people do have their minds changed, okay? You don't see that, you don't hear about it because it doesn't make the news. It doesn't turn into a massive problem. There is, of course, a point of no return, and I think that we're way past that. You underestimate the resentment that grew after Leftovers ended, and he lost a significant portion of his fan base. He blames you. I know he does. I know that now. I did not think that someone who I had a podcast with, a political podcast with, would be so selfish as to basically blame his former podcast co-host for his own exodus of his own audience that he had cultivated, he had developed. He had developed with a progressive mindset in mind. But remember, the reason why I won't stop being charitable to people and assume that they can change until it becomes like very apparent that they won't, and I have a much higher standard for that than most other people, is because my entire job revolves around the assumption that everyone is redeemable, that everyone's minds can be changed. That's it. And I hope to lead by example on that front as well. I want you to also take that attitude to your own personal relationships with other people that don't agree with you. That's it. Because every single person has a reactionary perspective deep down inside on one issue. We are all totally. I don't think there's a point of no return even for Ethan. Yes, of course there isn't, like, on principle, I don't believe that there is a point of no return. But of course, I have to switch tactics. This is the same principle behind, I want people to come in here and learn. There are some people who are genuinely curious, and then there are some people who use I'm just genuinely curious to shit stir, okay? While I do think that every single troll that comes in here could be redeemed, could be talked to, and you could change their minds, sometimes in the interest of stopping reactionary sentiment dead in its tracks, yes, I will clap back. Do you understand? Doesn't mean that I couldn't, if I chose to and spend enough time and enough effort, change people's minds. But, you know, I have a limited amount of time. I have a finite amount of time and space here. So, of course, I'm going to use that in the ways that I see are most efficient. It's embarrassing to admit now, but I watch his podcast. I would watch his podcast every day and tune into your stream after he made the heel turn. He just completely turned me off with his attitude. He just can't put the mirror up to his face and confront his own demons. Acceptable to the intersectionality of privilege. Privilege causes us to have blind spots. Ethan is my friend. We may have disagreements every now and then, but I have maintained the position that his heart is always in the right place, and he's on a journey of learning. Every single day I went live in the beginning, every single day I would spend at least 5 minutes to 30 minutes talking about how Ethan is not your enemy. You should not yell at Ethan. Ethan is a good person. Be more charitable to those who are open. And I think another big thing is you get clip chimped a lot. And if you made snap judgments on people, you would be as bad as the audience who listens to what they say about you with no charity. That too, for sure. As someone who is the recipient of bad faith attacks and clip chimping, consistent clip chimping, yes, I definitely have a lot more charity for random content creators who I don't know the extent of their opinion. Ethan wasn't your friend. Ethan is your enemy. Ethan isn't a good person. Hindsight. I am not in agreement with my assessment here, okay? I'm saying that for the time and place, the reason why I had charity was because I thought that remember, at this point, he's just making snide remarks. I'm not fully aware of all the shit that he's saying, and I'm purposely not even paying attention to what he's saying because I feel like there's more important things at hand. But obviously, there is a change that takes place. This is on February 23rd, 2024. You're looking at this with hindsight vision. Many of you are already aware of Ethan's ways, I guess. But I'm trying to explain to you that, like, at that point, I just didn't think that it was all that significant. But around October, I think, of last year, this tunes up. This turns into a massive harassment campaign. I'm just giving you background. I think ultimately it still stems from narcissism, ego, an inability to admit wrongdoing, an interest in generating controversy and clicks around an issue, no matter how serious the subject matter is. No interest in actually thinking about the humanity and livelihood of all of the people that he is trying to actively ruin the lives of, even if they were friends of his or fans of his at some point. All of that are major motivators here. All of that plays a big role here. Going after all of the pro-Palestinian content creators is gross. I admire your charitable nature. I just think it was frustrating for us who was watching his streams, that's all. Yeah, but I wasn't watching his streams, and you could have just stopped watching his streams. Meanwhile, I guess this is what Ethan's take was while I was saying these things.
Everybody wins. That's me. I just want everybody to win. Except Hasan. Yeah. I want him to lose everything.
I need that's what was giving me pause.
Oh, yeah. Not Hasan. Everybody, not you.
He's part of everybody, but yeah.
Even now, I don't care. Like, I still say I don't want Ethan to lose everything. I just want him to stop doing what he's doing, you know? I want him to stop going after pro-Palestinian content creators. I want him to stop representing a false reality about Israel. Kind of insane to play sound bites of another person every 5 minutes, every 5 seconds. Yeah. The reason why I brought that up is because it's just an abject lie that he presents, and it's on a silly thing. You know, it's about me. It's silly. It's silly to lie about such a thing. And it's very easy it's very easy to comprehend that it is a lie.